Hello guys, today I would like to tell you about a place called Ukraine. You may ask why. I chose Ukraine because I have found them to be amazing people who have stood up in a tough time. They have managed to make themselves known to all of us. This is why I chose them. You may have seen them on the news a lot lately. They have dealt with situations in a way that people seem to be shocked by. They have accomplished the impossible, showing nations that they can be the little man and still win. They show that NATO will help the small guy, and it will not end up being completely wiped out, as Putin has said that they will be wiped out. It is accepted that Ukraine has excelled in the conflict and is winning, despite being so small in size. Places close to Ukraine have begun to push away and move to NATO as well. As an example, Sweden. Kim Jong in places like China have noticed NATO defending the little man, which has halted an attack by China on Taiwan. The Ukrainian people, they have always been a good, happy, and skillful people, and they contribute to the whole planet. Ukraine is known as the breadbasket. They make the most food coming out of the old Soviet Union states annually. They have mountains on both sides, the Carpathians to the west and the Crimean Mountains to the south. Places like Poland, Slovakia, and Moldova touch Ukraine. Most of these nations used to belong to the old Soviet Union, including Ukraine itself. Putin still takes claim to all of the old states of the Soviet Union. This causes tension and conflict. Ukraine has been independent and out of the Soviet Union since August 2nd, 1991. Ukraine also has a few lakes. As an example, Lake Slovakia, which is one of the biggest lakes in the country. Ukraine was once a medieval state called Kievan Rus. Ukraine used to be owned by Lithuania and Poland. They became independent once World War I ended. Ukraine had a massive famine that caused massive damage and death to its people. In 1986, a plant exploded, which caused death and contamination in Chernobyl. This has left lasting pollution and contamination. In 1991, they left the Soviet Union, and in 2004, the Orange Revolution caused political changes to Ukraine. In 2014, Putin annexed Crimea when Ukraine kicked out pro-Russian. In 2022, Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine because they could not accept Ukraine being independent without any control at all. Putin has a lust to control anyone that he can control. He sees it as the way to not have people go against him. Ukraine has a lot of traditions, customs, and artistic expressions. It was built based on the English way of life. They love folk music, colorful customs, and paintings. They love embroidery, and family is vital to them. Religion has always been the fundamental aspect of life and what they believe. Most people belong to the Eastern Orthodox Christian movement. They have a focus on family and keeping family close. Ukraine likes to celebrate holidays such as Christmas and anything having to do with Christianity and God. They live to give hospitality. They want people to feel welcomed and loved. They believe in keeping family values and not changing them up as most have. They keep these old values by keeping the schools teaching the way that they want the kids to be and believe. Places like the US have not followed in this example, and what they teach is what people have become. In Ukraine, they love dancing, painting, conducting plays, as well as acting. They also walk daily to provide to family. Many food dishes go back through time, such as beet soup, dumplings, and stuffed bread. They also love fish, salo, paska, as well as bubik. Ukraine is a unitary presidential republic with a system where executive power is both with an elected president and a prime minister. Since the invasion of Ukraine, the government has had many changes in politics and has become aligned with the US and NATO. Ukraine has petitioned to join the UE as well as NATO, and they will likely be accepted into the EU. They have the issue of having pro-Russian spies who try to cause issues daily. When Putin invaded to bully Ukraine into joining them again, the Ukrainians would not back down. They do not want to be forced back in just because they used to be with the Soviet Union. 1 million Russians have passed away in battle, and about 80,000 Ukrainians have passed away in this battle. About 15,000 civilian deaths have happened at this point. You always have a disinformation agenda going on. Common attacks have been conducted by infantry, planes, tanks, ships, as well as missiles. Ukraine has been getting endless financial and equipment aid by places like NATO and the EU. They will have to pay it back eventually, but this has made Ukraine one of the most well-equipped countries today. China has noticed NATO helping the little man, and this has made them wait to attack Taiwan out of intimidation. They see NATO helping the small nations that may be attacked as well. Thousands of tanks have been lost, as well as most of Putin's planes. The fighting has caused a mass exodus out of Ukraine, many going to connected places, and even to the United Nations and EU nations. Today, I explained the past that made Ukraine, its geography and political base, as well as the events that have impacted Ukraine and made it what it is today. As an example, the Chernobyl explosion, the invasion on Ukraine, past famines and attacks. I explained the plan and the way that Ukraine wants to go, which includes joining the EU and NATO. I hope you liked what I have taught. Thank you.